Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and I am joined by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
I am. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It is episode number
110.
And it's almost the middle of August, hard to believe. Right in the middle of the fifth season in South Carolina, known as Inferno. And so, from our worldwide headquarters in South Carolina, welcome to the Inferno. We're so excited to be able to talk to you today about investing. Isn't that exciting?
It's going to be a great episode.
Yes. We're going to help people. We're going to help you grow your wealth. It's going to be awesome.
And knowledge.
And knowledge. Mm-hmm. Knowledge, wisdom equals wealth.
That's right.
I'm sure of it. All right, tell everybody kind of the question that we're going to address.
Yep, so this is your Investing 101, so get ready. So our question today is, I'd like to learn how to invest, but every time I start, I just end up getting overwhelmed. How does a person get started with investing?
That's a great question.
It is.
I love it. Now, this month's featured resource is the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not online study. Instantly access all 6 sessions taught by yours truly online, on demand, whenever you want them, and receive a copy of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, the book. Hardcover, beautiful, soft cover. It's got this soft feel on the cover.
Really nice, yeah.
For only $20 plus free U.S. shipping. This study is extremely practical, action-oriented, and biblically based. You'll be inspired to take charge of your finances, all from the comfort of your home. You can do this as a virtual group study on Zoom or individually. Just visit iwbnin.com/online to learn more, and the link will be included in the show notes. Mm-hmm. We know what time that is. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Yes, let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Our saving and investing tools are designed to help you make more informed decisions. Whether you're wanting to know what your investment strategy will produce for you by retirement age, or determining how much you should save each paycheck for known upcoming non-monthly expenses like Christmas, vacation, and car repairs, you'll find the calculator you need at iwbnin.com. Click on Tools and select Saving and Investing.
Yes, and for today's current money events topic, current money events, dun, 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 dun. Do you like that?
Are you
It
switching
should be
it
a
up?
song. Singing's my next career. We're going to be very skinny. But I want to talk about a story that happened to me. It's a real life story about the value of experts. You ready for this story?
It's a good
Have
story.
you heard my story?
I have, but I like
I'm
it.
going to have a little spin on the story a little bit.
Yeah, share it again.
So my northern friends, the northern friends in, let's say, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, some of Indiana, Ohio, definitely, Pennsylvania, all of Canada, out west, South Dakota, Idaho, they know about a fish that swims up there. His name is walleye. And he's also known as the yellow pickerel, but everybody knows him as the walleye. He has weird eyes. Look him on Google, walleye, W-A-L-L-E-Y-E. And the reason they love him is he's so good eating. I mean, it's the best fish in the north. Maybe we could put a little picture of him in the YouTube video here for everybody. Walleye, W-A-L-L-E-Y-E. And he's a night predator. And so he has these weirdo eyes that glow in the dark. And he's just such a unique fish. But the meat on this fish is just delicious. It's an amazing fish. So everybody goes fishing for him. And every year, my family goes up and we fish at this big lake up in the middle of central Minnesota. And we try to catch the mighty walleye. But the problem is none of us are any good at catching him. We're really bad at catching him. In fact, this year, even though I fished hard for Mr. Walleye, I caught exactly 0 of him. It had warmed up, and they go really deep. They like cold water. They only come up at night. The mosquitoes, which is the state bird of Minnesota, start coming out, and I disappear and go inside. And so I didn't catch any. And I was disappointed again. And, last year I caught none. I've not caught a walleye in Minnesota like 4 years in a row. I'm just bad. Now, about 7 years ago, my family went to this lake for the first time. We've been there every year since. And my brother hired a guide to go out the same lake I've been fishing. He hired a guide in the middle of the day, which is not the ideal time to fish for Mr. Walleye or any fish really. And in 2 hours, they caught like over 50 walleye. And so I was remembering this story as I was leaving fish camp of another week, fruitless chasing of Mr. Walleye. I did win. I caught the biggest fish.
There you
caught
go.
a 12-pound, 38-inch muskie. That's a respectable muskie. He was a nice
Did you get the
toothy
paddle?
fish. I got the paddle.
Nice.
It's in my office. I'm excited. Anyhow, and what I'm mentioning is all of our family, everybody's on the trip signs a 4-foot paddle. I think it's 42 inches, actually, the whole paddle. And my daughter puts her artwork on it for the year, and everybody signs it. And whoever wins, they get that permanently as a trophy. I like it. And it's my 3rd paddle I've won.
Yeah, a couple in there.
Anyhow, I left, and I'm driving, and I decided I'm going to drive across through near Rice Lake, Wisconsin, everything. I'm going to go over to Green Bay and see the Green Bay Packers Stadium. And then I drove down along Lake Michigan all the way down through Chicago and around and went to the Warren Dunes. And then I go over to my wife's family who's near Detroit. And as I'm driving closer and closer, I'm remembering that Lake Erie is a world-renowned lake for walleye fishing. And so I decided I would do some research really quick and find like the #1 walleye guide on Lake Erie and see if I could hire him to get me out there. And I found him. He's the head of the charter association for fishing charters. And his name is Captain John of Stray Cat Charters. I called him up, and he eventually called me back, and he had some time available on one afternoon. So I'm like, oh, great. And I asked him, are they biting? Are the fish biting? Well, he seemed genuinely confused that I would ask that question. So he may have even taken offense to it that I would ask,
Yes.
are they biting? And so
the #1 expert.
He didn't even answer my question. He's just basically, I need you to pay me some money, and I'm going to take you fishing. We hope they bite. So I brought my father-in-law and for a late Father's Day gift, and I brought my wife and my son. And we go out, and I mean, they put these contraptions out in the water, and it's like clotheslines out in the water, and they put all these lines. And I mean, it's like a dragnet of fishing lines, and they have all these lures and all these. It was unbelievable. He didn't get half of them out, and all of a sudden he's like, hands us a pole and say, somebody reel this one in. And my father-in-law, he's up there, and he's just reeling like slowly, like doom, doo, doom, doo, doom, doo, doom. I'm like, get it in here already. It's a walleye. Oh my goodness, we finally have a walleye. It's probably the only one we're going to catch. And so he gets it right to the edge of the boat, and because he took so long, it fell off. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we lost the one walleye. And now, my cost per pound is infinity because I got no pounds of fish. And so my pain and agony was short-lived because like 30 seconds later, they grabbed another pole and said, here, somebody reel this one in. And then like 15 seconds, hey, somebody reel this one in. And before I knew it, there were 3 people across the back of the boat reeling in walleye. And we caught other types of fish. And bottom line is, in 1 hour and 45 minutes, we had caught our limit, which was 6 fish each. We had sifted through a bunch that weren't legal size and other types of fish. And we came back in, they cleaned the fish for us, boneless, beautiful fillets, bagged them up for us. And like 2 hours and 35 minutes after we showed up, we left limited out. And I learned some lessons. Here, and I wanted to share them with our listeners because I think it really, really applies to money. And that is the value of an expert in your life. The value of experts in different areas that are important to you in your life. If you want to be fit, you should probably have a fitness expert in your life. If you want to grow spiritually, you better have a spiritual mentor in your life. You need to have experts. If you want to win with your money, you need some money experts. And the value of an expert. See, I, #1, went to a place where there were a lot of walleye. But guess what? The lake I had just left had a lot of walleye. There was no difference. But I got an expert. The expert had the right equipment. They knew where they were. They put me on them. And as a result, I have this amazing memory and all this great walleye fillets now. And I just was reminded again, the power of seeking expertise. So I want all of you today for my Current Money event to think about who are the experts that are helping you win with your money. We're grateful to be part of the journey with you as Monday Money Tip. And we really aim and strive to be experts to help you. But you should have experts on specific aspects of money as well. You should have an insurance agent that helps you and guides you and educates you. You should have an investing expert who guides you and helps you. You should have a budgeting expert. We'll volunteer to be that one. You should have someone who helps you save money from time to time, and we volunteer to be that one. And what we do want to help you with is the basics of all of these topics to help you win with your money. But again, I want you to recognize from my story again, just the true value of having an expert in your life. Do you like my story?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple different elements to it this time. That's good. Yeah.
She's heard the story before. I'm going to use it a lot.
That's okay. I like hearing stories again. Why not? Okay, so this week our success story comes from Pastor Jeff Maness. He's a good friend of ours, and he's out at Element Church in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And this year, he says, this year my wife and I reached a major financial milestone by achieving 6 months of living expenses and emergency savings. We hit that mark just days before the COVID crisis hit our country. First of all, I can't tell you how much financial stress was taken away in this season, knowing that we had some fairly long-term margin to see it through if needed. But also, you have said many times, the higher you are on the financial ladder, the more opportunities you'll be able to see. Since we are on rung number 5, that's rung number 5 of the I Was Broke Now I'm Not ladder, we were able to see an opportunity for investing when the stock market went down. In late March, as the market was in free fall, we did some research on companies we wanted to invest in and ones that showed promise of a strong return. Using Ally Invest, we decided on an amount to invest, choose 5 companies, and today we have seen a 41% return on investment, wowzers, as the market has started to climb. We know that 41% is not going to last forever, and we are well aware of the risks that it could crash again and be gone tomorrow. But we are on our way to diversifying our savings and investing even more. Thanks to you. Keep up the great work. You're making a difference.
That's awesome. And thank you so much, Pastor Jeff, for sharing this. Number one, I wanted to say rung number 5 is where you save a minimum of 3 months worth of expenses in your emergency fund. And so they've achieved 6 months. So as I always say, it says minimum because other people have other numbers they want to strive for. Pastor Jeff and his wife have strove to reach 6 months. That was their goal, which is awesome. And then they've been able to move to rung 6 now, which is to place 15% of their gross income, before tax income, into tax advantage investments. And so they've moved that way, and they've been able to pounce on the opportunity like a puma. Row! Isn't that awesome? And so I'm so proud of Pastor Jeff and his wife, Sabrina. Way to go. We're celebrating with you. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yep. All right. So for our featured question for today, the question is about investing. So I would like to learn how to invest, but every time I start, I end up getting overwhelmed. How does a person get started with investing?
Yes. So investing is so good and so wide-ranging that I want to start with the word start. Just get started.
Yes.
Like for real. Like it may sound a little ridiculous. Does it sound ridiculous?
No.
No, it doesn't sound ridiculous. That's good.
I think maybe because I know you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, for real. You know, there are just some things that you just will not know or understand until you wade into the water and get some of the gunk all over you.
And I think once you do it, once you take that first step, you'll look back and be like, oh, why did I wait? Like, yes. why did it take me so long to do that?
I have a real estate investment podcast I like to listen to called Bigger Pockets. And those guys on there all the time say, just do your first deal. You just got to do your first deal. Even if it doesn't make any money. If you break even, think about that. You break even on your first deal. But think about the college level education you're going to get for financial education on investing.
Yeah.
And it's not right for everybody to do real estate investing. I'm just saying investing in general. Whatever it is that interests you, go get started investing. I can tell you my first ever stock investment was Conseco Insurance. It crashed and burned. It was so bad. In 4 days, my investment went from $1,200 to $0. I managed to make $1,200 disappear.
But you learned.
But I learned.
Yep.
And what I learned is I didn't know very much. And a lot of other people knew a lot more than me, and they gladly took my money, got out. And, you know, the rats were leaving the ship. I didn't understand why they're leaving the ship. It cost me in the moment. But what it cost me has been well worth it for the education it's given me long term. And just because you have a pile of money does not mean you're a great investor. And it also does not guarantee that every investment will work out. And I think that's why it says in Ecclesiastes 11:2, you should invest in 7 ventures, yes, and 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. In other words, you know, some of these things are not going to work out even though they sound great. But I want you to get started investing. Whatever it is you want to invest in, whether it's stocks, whether it's bonds, whether it is in a piece of real estate, whether it's commercial or a piece of land or rental property, or you want to invest in something like a small business or a franchise or network marketing, as long as the product is good and you treat your friends and family correctly, and it's not all that ridiculousness that I see surround some of those, and that the product and service is excellent, really matters. I think that's one reason why Amway has stayed around so long. Why? Because they have excellent products. That's why they have their name on 2 different arenas because of that, and have been around for decades because of that. Yeah. And it's why Mary Kay's been around for decades. Why? Because they make great products that people want. Yep. And so I encourage you, just get started. You've been listening to this podcast maybe since episode 1. We're on episode what? 110. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of episodes to listen to if you have not yet started investing. Yeah. It's time for you to get started. You just got to get started.
Yep. An important note too is when you're looking at your money that you have, and maybe you have a chunk of money right now and you're like, should I invest this? Should I not? The key thing is if you need it in the next 5 years, you're going to put it in savings. If you don't need it in the next 5 years, then you can invest it. Just kind of something to sift through as you're thinking.
That's an excellent guide.
Don't put everything in, because then you're going to be in trouble when you need that money. But
absolutely. So don't invest all of your money. If you need the money in the next 5 years, you're going to have to place that in some secure place. Okay, great reminder. Yeah. So the second thing is what?
The second thing is ROI.
So return on investment. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to understand how that is calculated. So a return on investment, that is the goal of any person who invests, is to have a return on the investment. So the way you calculate it is you look at what you invested, and then you look at what you gained, if you gained, and then you divide it by what you actually invested. So let's say you invested $100 in a stock and you sold it for $110. Okay? So you made $10 on $100, so you made a 10% return on investment. Make sense?
Yeah.
Let's say you bought a used vehicle. You're really good at that. It had some issues. You know how to fix cars. The person didn't really know what the problem was. They thought it was a huge issue. You realized it was just an oil filter. Okay? You bought it for $2,500. You sold it for $5,000. Let's calculate return on investment. Your gain is $2,500. Assuming you didn't invest any money in parts. Let's say you did. You had to buy $500 of parts and stuff. So you have $3,000 invested, so you made $2,000 extra. $2,000 divided by your $3,000 into the thing means you made 66.7% return on investment. Make sense?
It's pretty good return on investment.
So I don't know what your target return on investment is. All I know is I do want a return. Warren Buffett has rules for investing. Number 1 is don't lose money. And rule number 2 is when in doubt, refer to rule number 1. So return on investment matters a lot, because I want you to think about whatever you're investing in, what is the realistic return on investment you should reasonably expect to receive? Of course, we all hear the stories. This person bought Apple for $4 and now they are $4 billion. And this person bought Warren Buffett's stock, Berkshire Hathaway, in 1977 for $100 and now it's $191,000. We hear those stories, and Lord bless you. I want us all to be that. If you have that tip, call me, all that stuff. But the point of investing should not be greedy money investing.
Right.
Now listen, putting stuff in a slot machine at a casino, that is greedy money investing. Buying a lottery ticket, greedy money investing. And we all have a little greedy money investing in us. Trust me. I know every human being has it in them.
Yeah.
But here's what I know. That should be very limited and 0.01% of your portfolio. But return on investment matters a lot. If you're in a stock investment, look, you may try to beat the market, but there's a reason why there are people with more degrees than the thermometer who can't beat the market. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Day traders get destroyed, especially when markets are going up and down like we have right now.
Sure.
And as a result, I just encourage you to think about it. If you're in stocks and bonds, it says you should average somewhere around 11 to 12%. That's what it's averaged over the last 90 years or so. If you're in real estate, it's reasonable to expect a 12% rate of return on that investment, maybe up to 20% long term on rental property. If you're in gold and silver, the spread itself is 10%. That's the difference between the buy price and sell price. So you automatically have to get 10% just to get back to even. And so I strongly encourage you to think about what a reasonable return on investment is for you, what the potential is. And then number 3, I want you to think about the market that you have for that investment. What is your ability to buy or sell this investment? Like if you invested in let's say a carpet stuffed fried pickle stand.
Huh? What?
Okay, this is pretty special. I just made it up on the spot.
Clearly.
It's carpet stuffed. It's Mohawk carpet out of Georgia, Dalton, Georgia. It's carpet stuffed pickles. And it's got very specific equipment for cutting the carpet and sticking it in that pickle and frying it specifically. It has to be fried at 321 degrees. I'm sure of it. I'm making all this up.
So many questions.
Right? What is your ability to sell that equipment?
I mean,
probably pretty limited.
Probably 1% because there's somebody out there.
So this matters. I don't even think 1%. I think you're really aggressive on 1%. I think it's 0.001%.
0.00, yeah, there we go.
It's going to be reclaimed metal sales. Okay, so here's the deal. I want you to think about your ability to buy or sell what you have gotten, because if you don't have a market for selling it, then this investment's not good.
Yeah.
So I want you to think about that when you're thinking about what you're investing in. This is investing 101. This is why when they talk about real estate, that the 3 most important things when it comes to real estate is what?
Location, location, location.
There we go. Location, location, location. There's the same 3 things, right? Because what are they saying? Because that determines your ability to buy or sell from that location and to buy and sell that actual location. Why does ChickfilA, why does McDonald's, why does the QT gas station or the Wawa or whatever your favorite one is where you're at, why does it set up right where all the traffic is? Because they know it matters and it gives their ability to buy and sell. It's their investment. They wanted to have the ability to buy and sell. And so I strongly urge you to think about this when you're investing. This is investing 101, is you got to get started and you got to think about what your return on investment is, your potential return on your investment. And then what is your market? What is the ability to buy or sell the actual thing? And if it's a business, if it's buying and selling things, what is its ability to buy and sell what it's got? Okay? And then, number 4, I strongly encourage you to identify what interests you and pursue those things. I think it is a poor idea for the average person to invest in anything solely for the purpose of making money. I mean, I know that we invest in different stocks and that sort of thing for the purpose of making money. We would not ordinarily own a stock, without expecting to make money. But you need to know why it is that you're making that money from it. What is your purpose for wanting it to make money? Why do you want to own that particular stock? But it becomes even more important when it's real estate. If you want to own real estate, does that interest you? I think owning real estate just because it may be a money-making thing is not a good reason to own real estate. There are so many unique things that you have to know, or else you can lose thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. In some markets, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and never even know it. Yeah. Because of knowledge you did not have. Same thing when it comes to gold and silver. Same things when it comes to owning a small business or buying a franchise or buying an existing small business. So I strongly encourage you to identify what interests you. Like, for example, when you go to purchase real estate, and you say, I'm interested in real estate, how do you know whether or not you're really interested? Like, let's I'm going to podcast audience, couple minutes. We'll talk to Megan about what interests her when it comes to investing. This is off the cuff. She's smiling. You can see it on YouTube. What type of investment interests you and Jordan? Long term, like looking at your life, what interests you?
Yeah, we've definitely talked long term about having a rental property.
Okay. Single family?
Yeah.
Multifamily?
Single.
Okay.
We live close. I mean, Anderson, obviously we have a university here, but we also live super close to Clemson. So renting or having a place there where students can come and rent would be an easy way to ensure, as long as they go back to school, ensure that you're constantly having renters.
Yes.
Living in college towns, people are always going to be needing housing. You take the risk, though, that you might get some bad people who don't take care of the house. Some rowdy
college students.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's why you have
They're there for 9 months of the year a lot of times. And so you're interested in that type. Are you interested in owning a Zaxby's franchise?
No.
A restaurant or a franchise?
So when we first met, we both worked at different ChickfilAs. I was the marketing director for a ChickfilA for a while, and he worked at a bunch of ChickfilAs. And so we really love ChickfilA, obviously. Who doesn't? If you don't have ChickfilA near you, I'm really sorry.
Good.
It's so good. And so we had talked about if we had stayed in that path, potentially one day owning a Chick-fil-A. But I don't think that's our direction now. It's definitely a very different lifestyle. Living, working in the restaurant business, it just requires a lot of you, but also the payout could be huge.
Enormous.
Yeah. So just measuring out that. So I don't feel like that's the direction we're looking to go right now. I mean, that could change. But right now I wouldn't say that's something that interests us.
So I think that's super interesting because I don't know about Chick-fil-A's full franchise model. I know a lot about it. But here's what I would say. Let's look through this. So it's important to just get started. So if a person wanted to do a Chick-fil-A franchise, they have to get started. They have to go apply. They have to say, I'm going to get in line. I'm going to go through the test and try to position myself with the education, the abilities, the hustle factor, to be able to do this, the know-how. And then I have to look at what my potential return on investment, and really understand the numbers. And then you have to look at this. What is your ability to buy or sell Chick-fil-A sandwiches? Really great.
Yes.
What is your ability to buy and sell the actual franchise, however? And the most I understand, I don't fully understand it, but I don't think Chick-fil-A operators can buy or sell their franchise. I think it reverts back to the parent company.
Yeah.
So I think it's difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And so as a result, you spend all your life building up this huge franchise, and then what do you have? Other than all the resources you've produced with it. And so, and that's okay. And it's been very good for so many people. And obviously the franchise owners want to be a part of it, and they get to choose who gets one because so many people want one.
Oh, yeah.
But I would just say, that is something that's really important when you're looking at investments. It's got to be something that interests you, because you're going to put your heart and soul in it. I mean, I see our Chick-fil-A operators, they are heavily involved in their actual locations, but also in community activities. They're really pillars of the community.
Yeah, it's awesome.
John and Liz Holmes are. They're unbelievable. So I just encourage you, with every investment, look at that through that lens. What is my potential ROI? What is my ability to buy or sell with it if it's buying and selling something? And what is my ability to buy or sell the actual thing? And then does it interest you? Does it hold your interest long term?
Yeah.
And so I'll just share for me, I learned that real estate is really good for me. I really like it. I'm interested in it. I grew up helping build houses with my dad. I'm interested in single family and multifamily and in land. And I like all of those, and I own a lot of land, and I own a multifamily. I don't own any single family rentals yet. And then I also love small business. And I've purchased 3 small businesses. And when I did that, I did all of the things I just shared with you, the basics. And I got started looking for investments. I did the ROI calculations when I saw the opportunities. I looked at my ability to buy it, my ability to sell it, and the ability of the businesses themselves to actually sell what they were selling. And then I looked at them and said, do I really want these? Is it something that interests me? And as a result, we bought them because they met those criteria. So I really hope this helps our listeners, really think through a 101 course. And if you can get those basic things down, you can get your rear end in gear and actually get started. You can force yourself to start paying attention to it. And you understand return on investment calculation and can do really rough calculations pretty quickly. And then understand the actual market, and you have that interest level, I think you'll already be, maybe you get to advance straight to 301, investing 301.
Yeah. We have several resources. We have lots of different podcasts that we've done that talk about investing, but we have a book that you've written called Oxen, The Key to an Abundant Harvest. It's actually behind you. And that's a great book. So I'll include a link to it. If you're like, I want to know more about investing, can you point me in a direction? That's a great resource to get. And then also, if you're like, I want to know more, but I need basics, we have an ebook that's $2.99, super cheap, and it's the 5 basics of investing. So it will break down just a little bit more what we're talking about here. So I'll include links to both those in the show notes for you to pick them up.
That's awesome. And our verse for the day is Ecclesiastes 11:2. I've already referenced, and it says that invest in 7 ventures, yes, and 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. And so I strongly encourage you, be diversified. It's really important. Okay, for our next episode, we're going to talk about what?
Yes. Our next episode, we're talking about defining financial boundaries with children. Bum, bum, bum. So there is something that I see affecting so many parents and grandparents today. And
yes,
this
my
kind
parents.
of is more written for you.
My parents continually tell me how blessed they are to have 6 sons who don't rely on their parents to help financially support them. I don't know if you've heard this from parents yet, but they say this to me because apparently they have several friends. I'm talking friends in their 70s and 80s who are still financially supporting their grown children in their 40s or 50s. They're still reliant. They've never been able to get them out of the house.
Yeah.
And setting good financial boundaries today allows you to have freedom and allows you to live out Proverbs 22:6 says, raise a child in the way they should go. The emphasis added by me so that when they're older, they're not turned from it. We want them to go. Come back with the grandkids, but go.
Yes.
And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who can benefit. You can just quickly by rating our podcast, leaving a review. Those help us make our podcast better and help others discover us. If you've implemented one of our tips, please share it with us on our social media outlets or at our email address, info@iwbnin.com. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button, click the bell. You'll be notified every time, every Monday, another episode of the Monday Money Tip podcast releases. Hey, we hope you have a great day. Great Monday. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.